Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicki.
And today we're making my childhood dream come true.
I didn't even know she had a childhood dream.
Well, mom fail. I'm a 90s kid, and I remember when I first saw the movie Casper, that made me realize that the coolest thing to have in a bedroom, a kid's bedroom, would be a train track around the room. I don't know why, but that made Casper so happy, so it was something I always wanted, but I never got it. And when I moved into this house, this room, which I thought would be perfect for my Lego collection, had really tall ceilings, and I remember thinking, one day, I'm gonna make that track.
And here it is.
So obviously nothing practical about it, but it's super fun and it makes me happy. So that's why we put it together.
Well, you know, there is some practicality to it. If someone were to buy this house and you left it up there, you could actually use it as decorative stuff for decorations, baskets and things,
true.
or some bookshelves for books you don't really need to access very often. So there is a practical purpose.
So it is practical. Yes. So today we're going to make a practical shelf for books, or maybe a Lego train to go all around the ceiling. So let's get started. The first step was to cut the four corners. We're using a 1x12 4-foot board. We cut this into 4 11 1/4 inch squares. With our miter saw, I was able to make the cuts. Next was to cut a curve out of the corner. I placed the two sideboards and curved Lego track in place and realized I could use the curve of the track to mark the cut needed. Then I used a jigsaw to make the cut. The key to a good cut with a jigsaw is a new jigsaw blade and adjustable speed. Then I used the first one as a template to make the other 3 corners. Although we cut 4, we only ended up needing 3. I placed this 17 inches from the ceiling, and this is solely based on the height of the tallest Lego set, so it doesn't get in the way of the train track. Next, I found the studs in the back wall and marked them with sticky notes. Then I added another corner bracket, again going into studs. And then I added a 1x6 10-foot board on top of each of the corners. Then I leveled up the board and drilled pilot holes and screwed in the first bracket. We added 3 brackets on each wall, placing them into studs. To figure out how much we needed to trim off the 10-foot board, we put the corners into place and marked where the 10-foot board needed to be cut. Then we trimmed that in the garage. To attach the sideboards to the corners, we're going to use pocket holes. Here I'm using our Craig jig on the end of the 10-foot board to make 2 pocket holes. Then these will be attached in a later step. We just continued this process for all the walls. This concept is very straightforward, but because this is high up and I refuse to move my Lego sets on the walls, it was a little bit of a challenge. This room has a bump out window. This presents a little bit more of a challenge, but this is how we were able to work around this architectural feature. We bought a 1/2-inch piece of plywood from the store and had it cut to the top rounded window dimensions. We had a scrap piece of 3/4 inch plywood that we cut to the width of the window and the depth of the bump out. We wanted a thick piece of plywood for the shelf as we're not going to be able to secure it in the middle, and anything thinner would have probably bowed. We cut all this out on our Makita track saw. Then Mom primed all the pieces that we had cut so far. She's using Kilt's primer and will follow that up with the wall color. The wood over the window is going to extend beyond the shelf. Here I'm marking where the shelf will be on the wood, as we'll be painting the top section blue like the sky and the bottom green to just blend in with the room. We popped the piece of wood in place and screwed it into the wall on a stud. Then I drilled pilot holes for the bracket here, then drilled it into place. With the brackets in place, we placed the shelf on top and glued it to the back plywood. We put that plastic up in case the glue dripped. Off camera, I screwed the top of the brackets to the bottom of the shelf. On the sidewall that intersects with the shelf, you can see we didn't use a corner bracket, as this fits nicely on top of the shelf bracket. The fun thing at this point was my nibblings were in town, and my oldest nephew, who is 10, was very helpful at passing me supplies. I also took the opportunity to explain the difference in a drill driver and impact driver to the nibblings. This is called a drill driver, so it's made to drill holes and drive screws. This is called an impact driver, and this is designed to just drive a screw. So this does both things, but it doesn't drive a screw as well as this one does. And what this one does is it has extra torque, that noise you hear, that to help really push that screw into the wall, drive it into the wall. So that's why we're using both. But we wouldn't use this one to drill a hole because it would not be precise with that hole because of that torque, it would kind of move around.
See?
Good.
I'm a good cameraman.
Good. Next, we added vinyl clouds that I cut out with our Cricut Maker. If you look closely, I tried to make them look like they were made out of Lego bricks. And finally, it was time to start securing everything into place. We started with the back wall, and we just used a clamp to secure the two pieces together and added 2 screws into the pocket holes. I also put 3 screws to the top of the corner brackets. The brackets are doing most of the support here, so the screws are not getting a lot of weight on them, which is why we didn't also use wood glue. We screwed the top of the brackets to the underside of the shelves. And as we were doing this, I also started to add some of the Lego track. I was able to buy all the extra track I needed on Amazon. Time to test it out. I added my Disney train and made sure it went all the way around without any obstacles. Around this weird corner, I used flexible Lego track. Once I adjusted the track so that the train moved freely, I used tiny screws to secure the train track to the wood. You can see this fits perfectly flat. I didn't attach them at every single location, but enough so the track would be secure. And lastly, I added some LED light to add a little bit more drama.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow. Oh, that looks good.
And to cover up the long cord on the wall, we built a simple wood cover and used L brackets to attach it to the wall. We added one more shelf to display a few more trains and got to give the bottom part of the plywood a little bit more purpose.
What we learned. Way before Steph started this project, she wanted to change out the fan, which she did, and she changed it to one of these enclosed fans, and she thought that'd be a better fit in here, especially with the lights that go around. It gives you more even light, and then we didn't have to deal with those exposed blades.
So this Lego track around here, or train track, is going to be ever evolving. So when my nibblings were here, they also had some really good ideas. They want to actually hang some Lego sets from the ceiling, some like planes and things like that, and some Harry Potter that are on broomsticks. And I also thought maybe it'd be cool to make flat Lego buildings and put them around the track. So it'll be ever evolving. Who knows what it'll look like in a year.
One of the things we were really concerned about was how is that window going to look from the outside, and it looks absolutely perfect. You would never know walking by this house that there was something on the back side of that window, and painting it the house color was the perfect thing to do with that.
Now speaking of the window, we did put that piece of wood up with the shelf on it, and originally we put the shelf on in the garage. We had glued it in place, but then when we tried to put it, kind of maneuver it up, it was heavy and it was just too hard to get up, and we ended up making a hole in the wall. It was a whole thing. So we pulled the shelf off, we put the 1/2-inch plywood up, and then we attached the shelf. But because we had to do it that way, there is some gapping, and that means that our shelf is a little bit wider than it was supposed to be, so it sticks out from the wall. So we had to ultimately change the design of how the wood worked up there, but the way we ended up doing I actually like even better, so it worked out even better than we had planned.
It was a good little detour, wasn't it?
Exactly, it's a good detour.
Another one of the things we're going to do is take down the blackout curtains, and we're going to replace it with a pull down shade, and we decided to do that so there wouldn't be any strings so the dogs would get entangled, because they do like to look out that window. So that is coming in, we don't know when, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Probably.
It's on order.
It's been ordered. And lastly, you might be wondering what is behind us. One of the things about this train is I have to push a button on it to turn it on, and so I knew this about it, and that meant that I was going to have some kind of ladder in here always, but I decided decided, I was like, well, let me make a library ladder, also known as a rolling ladder. So basically this ladder can roll side to side, meaning I can get up and access the train, and I can move it out of the way so I can open the closet still, I can get to the doors. So it's actually is perfect in this room, and we are going to be sharing how to do that in a upcoming video. It actually was way more straightforward than I expected. And also another 90s movie, Beauty and the Beast. In that movie, Belle has a library ladder because she loves books, and so two of my childhood dreams that I didn't know I had that dream, but I actually always have been wanting to do a library ladder, and so now I had an excuse, but it's of course not for a library. It is for my Lego train. So thanks for joining us. If you want to see more projects from us, be sure to visit us at motherdaughterprojects.com and hit the bell notification here when you hit the subscribe button so you can get notified of all our new projects. So thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Woo woo! You were just waiting the whole time for that, weren't you?
I was. I wonder if I just upset the dogs. Oh, she
No,
didn't. She
they're
didn't
fine.
react.
They're
Okay.
on her
Bye.
feet.